The first rule of Fight Club is you do not talk about Fight Club. The second rule of Fight Club is you do not talk about Fight Club. Well, we're going to bend those rules today and do just that. Welcome to Throwback Thursday here at the Critical Cinema Club, where we discuss films from the past. This week, I'll be discussing one of my favourite films, which is Fight Club, and I'll keep it spoiler-free for the first part. Fight Club was released in 1999, starring Brad Pitt and Edward Norton. Pitt gets top billing, but Norton is the star of the show here. I didn't know a great deal about Norton before Fight Club, but in the years following its release, I have followed his career with great interest. Whenever I see him on screen, I am always fondly reminded of Fight Club. Have you ever loved a movie or TV show so much that when an actor in it shows up in something else, you get excited? Norton is one of those for me because of Fight Club. Pitt, on the other hand, I liked him in Interview with the Vampire and Seven, but I didn't get the big deal until Fight Club. Like Norton, I became a big fan after this movie. Helena Bonham Carter rounds off the main cast as Marla Singer, another actress I didn't know too much about before this film, but she's another that surprised me with a fantastic performance. David Fincher directed Fight Club. In the years prior, Fincher had directed Alien 3, Seven, along with Pitt, and The Game. All early signs of a promising career, which came to fruition with later films such as Zodiac, The Social Network, and Gone Girl, amongst others. I don't think there's a single Fincher project I haven't enjoyed. People always talk about the likes of Steven Spielberg and Christopher Nolan, but not enough is said about Fincher's consistency in creating fantastic movies. If you're watching this video, you may likely already know who David Fincher is, but the average moviegoer will probably not know the name, which is a shame. So, back to Fight Club. Norton plays the nameless narrator on who the film is centered around. He's a 30-something office worker in the middle of an existential crisis. He's living a perfectly fine, happy life, just like he's supposed to, but something is wrong. Something is wrong with all of us and the society that we live in. This mundane, vanilla life causes him to lose sleep, and his attempts to combat his insomnia are what sets this very different film into motion. See, that's about all I knew about the film going into it, aside from the fact that Brad Pitt was in it too, and it has something to do with fighting. And truly, this is the best way to approach it. What followed is only something I can describe as an experience. Movies are made to make money, of course, but I think this is just pure art. I went into the movie expecting one kind of film, and by the time the credits rolled, I felt like I'd seen something truly special. I'd always liked films up until this point, but Fight Club might have been the first time it went beyond just passing a couple of hours with an enjoyable movie. This was something more, and I wanted more of it. I read the book, I bought the soundtrack, both excellent by the way. I even wore out the VHS tape. When we meet Tyler, played by Pitt, he's everything that Norton's character is not. Whereas the narrator is a buttoned-down, nameless individual who is disenchanted with his mundane existence, Tyler is a cool, attractive, charismatic leader of men. Where the narrator feels trapped by his life, Tyler is a free spirit who is bound by no rules. When the pair meet by chance, they soon become fast friends, and somehow, that first night of drinking together becomes a friendly brawl. You have to see the film for yourself to understand how we get to that point. As the film progresses, more and more join in the fighting, and soon Fight Club is born, best described as an underground boxing club where more disenchanted men come to find themselves in Lou's basement. Marla Singer, played by Carter, is a character who embodies many of the themes explored in Fight Club, particularly those related to disillusionment, identity, and the rejection of societal norms. Her presence contributes to the overall complexity of the narrative and their characters' journeys. Her presence and place in the story ties everything together and helps set the plot into motion. What follows is an examination of consumerism, masculinity, and identity, where nothing is truly as it seems. You know how in The Game, mentioned earlier, lots of the characters Michael Douglas meets wish they could experience the game for the first time again? I feel that way about Fight Club. Which brings us onto the spoiler section. See, Fight Club is a film you have to watch again through the lens of truth once the twist near the end is revealed. And please, go watch this movie first before we go any further. The truth that Tyler Durden isn't real. He is the imaginary creation of our narrator. He's everything he wishes he could be. Suddenly, the casting of Brad Pitt makes complete, perfect sense. When you go back, you catch all the clues that were laid out before you all this time. Watching it a second time is just as rewarding as the first. Then you read the trivia, such as how the payphone the narrator uses at the beginning of the film clearly does not accept incoming calls. Just one of the many layers you can peel back on this fascinating film. You met me at a very strange time in my life. When the narrator utters those last words and hold hands with Marla Singer, and those buildings around them explode to the music of Where Is My Mind by the Pixies, I didn't know what I was supposed to do with my own life as those credits rolled. It was one of those times when I forgot life existed outside of what I was watching. The film was over and something was different. I'd changed. For me, a love of cinema was born, which is why this was the one and only choice for my first Throwback Thursday. Thank you, and see you next time.